The cash register is one of the earliest examples of invisible system design embedded directly into everyday behavior. It sits at the center of commerce, quietly shaping how transactions feel, how trust is distributed, and how disagreement is prevented before it begins. To understand why it exists in its current form, it helps to look at what came before it. Before cash registers, transactions relied heavily on people. Sellers remembered prices, clerks handled money manually. Cash was stored in drawers, jars, or tills that anyone behind the counter could access. At the end of the day, totals were calculated from memory, notes, or loose accounting. This system worked, but only up to a point. As businesses grew, problems multiplied. Employees made mistakes, some were dishonest. Owners couldn't always be present. Customers disputed totals. There was no reliable to neutral record of what had occurred in the moment of exchange. The core problem was not arithmetic. It was trust at scale. The cash register emerged as a mechanical solution to a social problem. It created a system that recorded transactions automatically, consistently, and visibly. Each sale produced a trace. Each action left evidence. This evidence mattered to everyone involved. For owners, the register reduced theft and error. For employees, it reduced suspicion by standardizing procedure. For customers, it reduced uncertainty by making the process legible. The design reflects this shared role. Early cash registers were heavy and enclosed. The weight signaled seriousness. The enclosure protected cash while making access controlled. The numbers were displayed clearly so both clerk and customer could see the same information. Transparency was built into the machine. The register did not hide calculations. It performed them openly. This openness reduced conflict. When everyone sees the same total, disagreement becomes less personal. The sound of the register is also deliberate. The bell or chime announces completion. It marks the moment when money officially changes hands. This auditory signal reinforces closure. It also alerts others, owners, managers, that a transaction has occurred. Sound becomes accountability. The drawer opening is similarly intentional. It only opens when a transaction is recorded. This ties access to cash directly to documented action. Money cannot be removed casually. The system enforces procedure. These constraints are not incidental. They are behavioral guardrails. The cash register slows the transaction just enough to make it formal. It turns a casual exchange into a recorded event. That shift changes how people behave. Clerks follow steps. Customers wait. Both accept the outcome more readily. The register also standardizes memory. Instead of relying on individual recollection, the system creates a shared record. Receipts, tallies, and later tapes and digital logs all stem from this core idea. Once the system remembers, people don't have to. This reduces cognitive load and emotional friction. Arguments become rare because evidence exists. Disputes move from personal accusation to procedural review. Over time, the register became less mechanical and more digital, but the form and ritual remained. Even modern point-of-sale systems preserve the same sequence: itemization, total, confirmation, drawer opening. The ritual persists because it works. The realization comes when you consider what the cash register does not do. It does not judge fairness. It does not set prices. It does not prevent dishonesty entirely. It does not ensure satisfaction. What it does is create a moment of shared certainty. That certainty is the product being delivered. The register transforms a potentially ambiguous exchange into a mutually acknowledged fact. It freezes the moment and says, "This happened this way at this time." That is powerful. Invisible design often succeeds by formalizing moments we would otherwise rush through, by slowing just enough, by recording without commentary, by making behavior legible rather than controlled. The cash register does not force honesty. It makes dishonesty harder and trust easier. That balance is why its design stabilized early and changed slowly. Too much complexity would interrupt flow. Too little structure would undermine trust. So the register remains visible, audible, and deliberate, even as technology evolves around it. It reminds everyone involved that commerce is not just about exchange, but about agreement. And because it does this quietly, transaction after transaction, we stop noticing it until it's missing.